Hello everyone, welcome back to another edition of Elite Sports Shooting. My name is Jeff. Today we're doing a cleaning video and we're going to clean the Winchester Sxp Hybrid Hunter. Before we get going, I do want to give a shout out to the GUGULUZA Gun Sock and the Jielisi Gun Sock. The GUGULUZA Gun Sock is, I think it's a pretty good idea if you have any kind of firearms. It keeps them in showroom condition. Now, I do know we take these out into the bush, we take them out to the range, we take them to the outdoors, we use them to hunt, we use them to sport shoot. Sometimes it's not always in the nicest the weather, but nonetheless, they are an asset. They did cost money, and someday if we want to pass these down to somebody else, or if we want to sell them, if it's in pristine condition, you're going to get more for it versus just, you know, throwing it around and potentially even damaging it. So I'm very careful with my shotguns. I really take really good care of my shotguns. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by making sure it's unloaded. That's what I was doing. Make sure verify the feeding path. So it is unloaded. I'm going to take the fore-end cap off. I've got the fore-end cap. And we're going to take the barrel right off, right to begin with. And I just want to... I am missing a stopper or plunger. So this has a, potentially could be a one-way. Might need some convincing. My condenser, just to give it a little bit of a oomph, try to get her out. Grab the roll pin, pull her out, pull the whole trigger group out, set it aside. And we are going to Alright, sorry about the pause. We had a little bit of a, my wife called. There is a storm happening and I am out in the shop, so I'm kind of oblivious to everything. But anyways, so we're back to disassembly. Now, inside the receiver, there is a, I don't even know what you call it, but it's just a piece. It's right here. Just push on that to pull the slide and the bolt right out. And leave it in there. Don't try to pull it out. We're just going to clean around it. Yeah, I've done that once before. Something very similar to that on another shotgun. It was a nightmare to try to put back together. So I would suggest not doing it. So to pull the bolt off, we're just going to hold on to the firing pin on the back. And it is spring loaded, so don't let it go or else it'll fling across a room. Boy, it sounds like I've done this before. So now everything's all apart. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 moving parts. So as long as you remember to put them back together in order, or you can play this video back and just see the order in which that we took it all apart. So then you're golden to put it back together. So we're going to start by taking some the gun complete gun treatment here, and we're gonna, that is actually pretty darn dirty down there. We're gonna spray it really good. There is a Hops has a gun bore cleaner, and we're gonna spray down the trigger group inside the receiver, and very carefully we're going to do the bolt. Now I have my trusty toothbrush, and I'm going to do this while it's on a towel, an old towel. I like to reuse everything, and I'll throw the towel out when it's done, when it's really, really dirty and grimy and I can't stand it anymore. Push the bolt up, the rotating bolt up, so you can actually get and just back the spring out just a little bit. If you start pulling things apart, there's a good chance you're going to make a mistake and not be able to put it back together properly. I also do want to spray down the magazine tube. Just to give it a little scrub. Now, some of this stuff does not get really dirty at all. It is a pump action shotgun, but this does have a partial inertia system. So if you watched any of the other videos, you'll notice that when I use the SXP, if you are firing and you just hold your hand to cradle the pump slide, it'll actually blow that bolt right back, the whole slide, and sometimes it'll even eject the round. So you just have to pull it back a little bit, and that's mainly for speed shooting. Alright, so we're going to take our brass bristle brush and we're going to put it up and down inside. The one thing I forgot to do is take out the choke tube. I want to get my hands on some external choke tube, just because I don't like necessarily sticking my finger in there. Now, I normally would use rubber gloves because I use a fair amount of this this gun solvent, and this is black, so it's hard for me to tell exactly how dirty it is. When they're chrome, it's easy. And we're just going to let that soak for a little bit. I'm going to get a roll of paper towel. Now, I do have some old rags that I like to use down really good, and it will automatically leave a film over top and inside. Careful not to maneuver that one strap piece in there, because it is, when I say it's a horse's butt to put back in, it's a horse's butt to put back in. And sometimes you bend it just a little bit. It's not fun. It's not fun. I'm telling you right now. I'm just going to wipe off the excess. I've had to take this thing apart a few times. Now, this has to sit back on here and rock down in the perfect position so, and when I say it's got to be the perfect, it's got to be the perfect mesh. The bolt has to be in the right position. When I say perfect position, it has to be in these two rear prongs have to go on the back side of the slide. And then there's a little channel. It's got to be in the perfect position on the firing pin to hold the firing pin down. Like I said, I've done this a few times, and it is a kind of a pain. Because the firing pin spring puts pressure on everything to hold it in position. Alright, so I think I got her figured out. I'm going to take her all apart. Now when I say this is kind of a horse's patootie, I'm being quite, I'm really being quite nice about it. So if you could clean this while it's in this position, it's probably the best idea. Just get the best, just clean it the best you can, because once you start taking this, the bolt off the slide, it gets to be kind of a, so you have to, these two rear pieces right here with the little kind of square hook on it. You got to be in front of those, depress the bolt as much as you possibly can. You almost need 3 hands. And then it's literally just I think I may have it. Actually I do. So just like that, you gotta manipulate the bolt head, the rotating bolt head just a bit, and the firing pin at the same time. So we're going to put this all back together. We're going to put it through the slide, and there, everything goes back together, just slides together perfectly. Now we didn't wipe down the trigger group yet, and I still have to clean the choke tube, the flush mount choke tube. So I'm just wiping this down. I'm not going to pull the trigger. I actually engage the safety so I don't pull the trigger. Now, I did want to make sure that we got those threads really well. Now the threads are further in, so they're not like on some of the other shotguns. So, and then I take a piece of paper towel and stuff it in the rear part of the barrel where the forcing cone is. Take a ramrod and make sure it's big enough to get some restriction in there. Now you can see how dirty that was. So we are going to do that one more time. And this one same piece, I'm just going to fold it over another way. Put it down the forcing cone. And we're going to push it in. There, we're probably good. It actually looks really good. Now, I do like to just take a little bit of that gun cleaner and just coat the barrel a little bit. I'm going to wipe most of it off. I just want a light coat. Just kind of clean everything up a little bit. Just clean it up a little bit. Take my trigger group. Push the slide forward a little bit. Now I'm going to rocket the front part of the receiver first. No. There, you got to push it in and then rock it back and up. The roll pin is a two-way pin. You can do it from either side. You gotta make sure it's in a perfect position or else it won't go in. It gets into a certain point. Take a condenser and you're good. Hit the trigger release to open the action. Slide the barrel down into the receiver Make sure everything flushes right up. Put the end cap back on. Tighten it right up. We still have the choke tube. I want to see how dirty this is. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But that's why we're doing this. We're just cleaning everything up. And then I'm going to run a little bit of paper towel through it. Now this is part of the process of shooting. I actually do enjoy this. It's I actually would put on some music, maybe have a beer, maybe mix a rum. Just put a little dollop of oil and literally just let it wrap itself around. I'll take my finger and just push it all the way around. Screw the choke tube back in. Like I said, I do have a choke tube wrench here somewhere. It's probably in my truck. I was out shooting today. I usually only get them a little bit better than finger tight. And now, I got a little bit of oil on my hand still. I'm just going to wipe it all off. There you have it. The Winchester Sxp Hybrid Hunter cleaning video. So that's it for me. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I will put a link to the products that I do use. If you like the content of the video, please give me that thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And always remember to keep both eyes on your target. Thank you, everyone.